Okay, I am Jamie Larsson. The roles have been switched now from his hyperness to me reading. I hate to read, but here I will. For reals? Okay. I first found out about the Knees Beyond Medicine program when I went to get me a wig from the American Cancer Society. My hair started falling out, and it was falling out fast. When I was first diagnosed with cancer, the sudden crazy idea popped into my head that I wanted to be an inspirational speaker. Wondering why I even said that, it was a bit strange, until one day I was so excited when I came across this advertisement for this canSURVIVE event. I thought how perfect that was for me and my personality to write a little thought for others to read and to have my picture showcased. That was perfect. This way I could be seen but not physically heard. Well, that all changed when I called Chad and Philip to come take my picture. They hit me up on speaking tonight, and I was hesitant, but I knew if I didn't, I would regret it. I was up for a challenge. Why? Because I can do hard things. So my personal story begins as one day I felt a large lump in my breast that was not there before. I was in pure denial that it couldn't be anything because I didn't feel the marble. This is echoing. You guys are doing something here. I was for sure that it was just a new muscle that I was getting from all my running, right? With my history of breast cancer from both my maternal and my paternal grandparents, my husband said, go get checked. I was 40 years old, and I never had a mammogram before. And so I did. That was the beginning of chapter 1 in my story. I started off by calling just my local IHC clinic that was by me. I got all checked in and dressed when the nurse asked me if I had any concerns. Well, of course I did, so I said yes. And immediately she said that she couldn't do my screening. I had to go somewhere else that had the diagnostic screening machine. So that took a few weeks after that, and I got my appointment at Ogden Regional Hospital. This month, within a couple more weeks to the year, was my first mammogram. And it became my last. I went from having a mammogram to the 3D ultrasound to diagnostic screening, a biopsy where they insert the little small marker clips into the lump site, and back in for another mammogram, all within a few hours. My doctor insisted that I stay and do all that in one visit so he could get the results first thing Monday morning. I was all alone and super scared. They had called me in, a nurse navigator, to be my friend and hold my hand. She hasn't left my side and is still there a year later. A few days after, my husband and I got to sit with my doctor in the dark room with x-rays of breasts all over the computer screens like you'd only see in the movies. It was real. Just to hear the news. I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma. The type didn't mean anything to us. It was to hear the phrase, "You've got cancer." That's what hurt. We left that appointment and drove and cried. How are we going to tell our kids? What is life going to be like now? All of a sudden, life was put on hold. The stuff was only stuff. It was all about me and how we would deal with my new cancer life. How I dealt with it, you can go read my photo story. It describes how I could turn a not so feel good day into something wonderful by looking for the good in every day. That photo shoot was really fun with Bill and Chad on 25th Street in Ogden at night by myself. Chad kept telling me a few times to not smile and to be serious. And obviously, I had a hard time doing it. That's a serious photo. So 9 months of fighting cancer has been completed. My genetic screening showed that cancer was my own mutation and triple negative. Surgery report was a stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. I have a double mastectomy with 1 positive lymph node out of 3 removed, 16 chemo treatments, 1 blood transfusion, and 28 radiation treatments. Thanks for this opportunity to share my story.
Thank you, Jamie. Next, we have Stephanie Mathie, who is a survivor of malignant melanoma, stage 3B, and thyroid, 2.5 centimeter on right thyroid survivor. Please welcome Stephanie Mathie. Stephanie, are you with us?
I am normally a very outgoing and talkative person, as long as it's not about myself. So I had to write down a few things instead of just being able to express it to everyone here. First of all, I'm very well aware that this night is about celebrating cancer survivors, and I call them warriors. However, I would also like to recognize those that did not win the fight. They are no less warriors in my eyes. I dedicate my evening to my second mother, Mary Jensen, and an incredibly dear friend of mine, Paula Glenn, that left a little too soon. So, hello. My name is Stephanie Mathie. As said, I was first diagnosed with malignant melanoma cancer in 2003. And typically when asked about my story, I often like to just talk about it as a statistical rundown. The reason being is that for both of my cancers, I have thought, no big deal. Get it in, get the nasty cancer taken out, and move on. When diagnosed in 2003, my first thought was, my cancer isn't really that important. After all, I had never heard of a marathon or fundraiser about melanoma, for heaven's sakes. In 2003, it was one of those times where melanoma was just not even really talked about like it is today. Thank heavens it is today. The chemotherapy for melanoma also was in the trial period, and I chose to opt out of that. Just because a year of sickness to think if I maybe might get cancer again wasn't worth it to me. My doctor was really ticked off at me, and I couldn't figure out why. I was really mad. I was totally blinded to the recovery I had ahead of me. Just like many of you that have survived or are surviving and have struggles, I did as well, with fatigue, many nights of pain, pumps that got infected, tears and fears of the unknown. When I had my melanoma, it was in my lower back, and they had to do a mapping to see if it had moved to my lymph nodes. It did move up to my lymph nodes, which was my upper right lymph nodes, and they ended up having to take out 27 lymph nodes out of my right arm and my right breast. That kind of made me mad too. I'm like, just can't it be localized? However, when those days occurred, I looked to my spiritual beliefs, relied on God, family support, along with the fact that I wasn't ready to give up and not be the mom I wanted to be for my 3 children, who at that time were 18, 11, and 6. I also relied on some really good motivation materials just to keep my attitude adjusted. Perspective was always at the forefront of my mind. I believe that because I was so unaware and just living for the moment, I didn't realize the gravity of what I was told or the 3 surgeries I went through until a year later when I was having an episode of my lymphedema swelling and I was complaining, and it hit me. I would not only be scarred for life, but deal with lymphedema pain the rest of my life as well. I think all cancer survivors need to mourn and really take in what cancer is and what it does. Then recognize you are alive and grateful for those scars. Hence when I decided to call myself a warrior along with survivor. With the thyroid cancer I had last year, I felt much the same way. Okay, that explains my fatigue. That's why. Let's get in, get it out, and move on. However, when I heard this comment to nauseam, oh, thyroid cancer, that's the easiest cancer you can have. That's the best cancer you can have. Is any cancer really a good cancer? I'm just asking. However, when you defeat cancer, any cancer, you smile and feel it a privilege to be part of such an extraordinary group of people. I love to say and shout from the rooftop, I am a cancer survivor. However, if you know me, you know that I most often say I'm a cancer warrior. Warriors fight battles and move on. They never give up to the point of fighting to the death sometimes, which is why I consider survivors or any of those that have cancer warriors. You don't have to be a cancer survivor to be a warrior. It may just be making it through a hard day or the traffic jam on the way home from work or the way here, perhaps. I'm very grateful for my children, husband, and family and friends that were there by my side every step of the way, both times. Cheers to all of you who are going through a challenge now in your life. If I may suggest, next time you find yourself with a diagnosis that is not what you were hoping for, most of all the ones we aren't hoping for, or struggles, try putting the word warrior in front of your name. You'll be surprised how it will make you feel and the power it will give you to carry on and win that battle. A saying that I love from Gandhi is, strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. I'm so excited and happy that I was asked to be a part of this event and also work with Needs Beyond Medicine. I saw a pin, anyone that's involved in Pinterest, the other day that said, no cancer, whatever the ribbon is okay. So even though I didn't think that my cancer was worth anything, I think that anyone that has cancer needs to understand that they are worth something and they are a warrior. Again, Needs Beyond Medicine is something that I'm going to be heavily involved with to help those that not only need the medical help in our medical side, but just even a ride, like they said, to an appointment, or perhaps go and get groceries that you think, how can I afford that? I was very honored that Phil asked me that, and I just say to everyone that is here, whether you're a cancer survivor, someone going through cancer, or you've lost and love someone with cancer, you're an incredible group of people, and you're warriors too. Thanks.
Stephanie, thank you. And I know it won't be appropriate, but maybe Stephanie, you could raise a toast from now on to say, if you ever get cancer, I hope you get the best cancer. And so it was well played, and I can appreciate how the words that you said, where you talk about the battle and being a warrior and having strength, make a lot of sense, because what you do, what you have done, is persevere, and I honor that. Thank you. I'll take those words tonight. But for now, I would like to introduce the founder, the CEO of this organization, the guy to whom I was introduced a few years ago, and to whom I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here in front of you. Please welcome Philip Brown, the founder and CEO of Needs Beyond Medicine.
Thanks again to Ryan for emceeing tonight, and I want to thank everyone here. This is our 9th year of doing this. I want to especially thank Chad Hurst for taking all these beautiful photos. We do it throughout the year, and can we give him a round of applause tonight? And I want to especially thank all the survivors for letting us take your photos, share your stories with the public, and helping raise awareness on cancer itself, and then also the organization Needs Beyond Medicine. I want to thank everyone again and plan for next year. We do this event every first Friday of each year, so plan on next year. Next year's will be the 10th year doing it, so we should have a great event, and it'll be a little tweak. So if you haven't also, just to plug to sign up for our email list, we just send out monthly newsletters just highlighting how many assistants or how many patients we help throughout the month, any events that we have coming up, or any also volunteer opportunities. So thank you so much again for everyone coming out. Please eat, bid on items, and do some more raffle items as well. We'll probably start calling raffle items in about 10 or 15 minutes, and also the silent auction. So you have plenty of time, but make sure you eat and have some more drinks. And thank you all again.